Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel called The Enlightenment Show. I'm your host Diana Nkatha. So today I want to speak about a topic that many people never want to hear about, and that's substance abuse and drug addiction. Today it's all about dundaing. So it's fun but still dangerous, but here The Enlightenment Show is going to tell you some of the tips and how to deal with addiction and how you're going to end up in addiction. No one wants to be addicted, but at the end of the race, people get addicted. So the best thing concerning Enlightenment Show, it's simple, real, and genuine. And what do I mean by these three words? Simplicity means you're able to understand each and everything that I'm going to tell you, and also to apply them in your daily activities. Being genuine, I'm not here to criticize you or to judge you. Some of us tend to find ourselves in such situation and you don't know how to come out of this situation. I'm here to help you and to deal with various problems. The last thing is being real. What Enlightenment Show is focused on real issues in our daily activities and in our daily life situation. The main reason I decided to shoot this video is because during quarantine, many people have nothing to do. Some of you guys are so idle at home and you're bored and you don't have any company, and the only alternative is the use of these drugs. And I can tell you right now, it's giving you pleasure, but after quarantine, it can give you a lifetime problem. So my main thing is to educate you concerning addiction and how addiction takes place and how you can also come out of addiction. So I want to start by defining some of the terms that I'm going to use. One, what is a drug? A drug is any substance that is artificial or naturally made that affects the normal functioning of the body, and this can be emotion, cognitive, and also your behavior, and is not for medical purposes. So what is dependency? This is when you have compulsive obsession to the drug, that you have no control, you depend on the drug. And then what is tolerance? Tolerance, this is whereby that you tend to increase the amount of the drug so that you can have a desired effect or intoxication. And then what is withdrawal? This is when you decrease the amount of the drug, or rather you reduce the amount of the drug, or you avoid using the drug. You tend to have symptoms that make you ill. And then finally, what is addiction? Addiction is lack of the control of the using of the drug. Why do people use drugs? So one thing is because of the peer pressure. Peer pressure, these are the friends that you're having and your company. They will always influence you. The second thing is because of stress and maybe depression. And when you're undergoing depression, you tend to be in low mood. But when you use drugs such as stimulants, they will able to make you feel okay for the moment. But this is not a problem solver. You'll end up to face the same problem zikishuka. You understanding me? So the other thing is because of the chaotic environment. Maybe you're in an area where there is no moral standards. People tend to use drugs over there and you may end up in drug. Another fact is because of the family background. And when I tell you this fact, kindly don't use as an excuse. Concerning your family and family history, it's because when your parents both do drugs, or one of your parents do drugs, there is highest percentage or the highest rate or risk of you using the drug. And if you have never used drug and your parents uses drugs, kindly never use it, because you will end up in addiction. This is a fact. You can always Google it or find it in any research books. You'll find it. And all in all, you can always abstain drugs. And as a fact, kindly try to make right decision, because you can use drug for now thinking that it's okay, and in future it's going to affect you. So I want to tell you something concerning addiction. Before you get addicted, it has phases of addiction, and this is a long-term period. Many people get addicted in different periods of time. At the same thing, you can be addicted as fast as possible with different type of substance. So the substance that you're using has different period of time. So the first phase of addiction is called prodromal phase of addiction, whereby the irrational use of the drugs begins to stop and the social use of the drug begins to become a limitation, whereby you used to go after work, you go and take one bottle of beer with your colleagues or with the friends, but now these signs are no longer there. So the first sign and symptoms of addiction is called tolerance, whereby you increase the number of drug or the amount of drug that you're using so that you can achieve the desired effects. So let me give you an example whereby you used to go for clubbing or dundaing, then you just take one bottle of beer, then unasikia hazishiki anymore. The moment you feel like that, you'll definitely add another one. This is because your body has began being, as it's already getting used to the drug. And the moment it's getting used to the drug, you need to increase the number of the drug you're using. So the next thing you're going to see is that the beer is no longer enough for you, so you want to take Mzinga. And whereby when you take Mzinga, you now take it with a chaser, maybe Coke or Sprite, but still you feel, hey, you don't feeling it. So the next thing you start doing is taking shot. And that's the moment some people tend to call themselves a mini tanker. You understand me? So the next thing is the fast blackouts. And the fast blackouts, this is whereby it doesn't mean blackouts ni kuzima. Whatever blackout means, you're conscious of whatever you're doing. Maybe you've gone to club, you're dancing, you're doing crazy things over there, but the next day you can't remember. If you can remember that song like Jana Kulienda Aje, so that's a sign of addiction, and that's a blackout. So what happens, the drugs normally affect the short-term structure of the memory in the brain, and when it affects you, you're not likely to remember whatever happens. And most of the time this happens in house party, whereby you go, you drink, the next day you don't know whatever happens, and this can create problems such as irresponsible sex, rape, and many other things, and you can feel shameful and guilt the next day. Another sign and symptom is sneaking of drinks and drugs. Sneaking of drinks and drugs, it can be in school, it can be back at home, you're sneaking them, it can be any other place that people don't want drugs, but you're doing it so that you can be able to take it. And one example is when people tend to go for clubbing and they can't afford to buy drinks from there, they'll always jumpstart na chrome, or they drink fast. So the moment they drink them so that they can go to that clubbing or social gathering. So this is a sign of addiction. Another thing is concerning gulping of drinks. Gulping of drinks, this means whereby you now going. Leo, people tend to say, leo ni kukunywa na kuzima. Now you no longer drink to enjoy that drink or for fun. You now drink it so that you can be drunk. And how fishy, you understand me? So the other thing is denial. People tend to denial. Anytime you ask people who drink, they'll always tell you, there's nothing is happening. They'll deny. Or you ask them, you tell them that they are high, they'll always kata. They'll say, apana, mi na feel tu niko mi sijakunywa, mi sijafanya hivi and hivi. And that's a sign of denial. And then the final thing is preoccupational drinking. This means that after you've come out from drinking, you have a lot of episodes thinking about how it was. This is like fantasy, or you think how it was unafanto most of the time, and planning for the next episode of drinking. So the second phase of addiction is called the crucial phase of addiction. This is the reason it's called the crucial phase is because there's hope of intervention, and there are some of the signs and symptoms that follows. So the first sign is loss of control, whereby you used to be a social drunkard, but now after your work or when your friends calls you, you go there to drink, thinking that you're accompanying them, but you tend to drink more and more and more. You can't control the level of drinking. You can't control even the money you're spending to drinking. That I want to give you a Kikuyu saying, but I'm going to say it in Meru. Aranywa ngiri akarea vefte. So meaning that this person will always drink 1,000 shillings, but they will only eat 50 bob. So the other thing is concerning denial. This person will always deny. When you comfort this person, if they drink or while they drinking, they'll say they never drink and they won't accept they do drink. That thing is concerning intervention, medical intervention and psychological intervention. This person will having signs and symptoms that they feeling dizzy, that they feeling the lack of appetite, they are feeling unwell. But when they go to the hospital, they won't say that they are alcoholic, and that's what make them what they're feeling. And I will advise most of the doctors or this to be applied in our country, that anytime somebody comes to the hospital, kindly ask them if they do drink, so that we should not medicate these people with other medicine, but we should always find the initial problem is because they are an addict of alcohol. Because sometimes people, such an alcoholic people, they tend to have symptoms like malaria, such as dizziness, blur vision, you tend to medicate them with antibiotics or malaria or antidepressant, thinking that depressed, but the initial thing is because they are addicts. So this is my advice to many. If you're feeling you're alcoholic, kindly, and you want to visit a clinic or an hospital, kindly be saying, yes, I do drugs and I want to come out of it, so that the doctor can give you the right medication. This will save many, and also doctors, it's up to you. So the other thing is guilt and remorse. People, when they get drunk, they do many things. There's drama in relationship. At home, there's domestic violence. So these people, when they sober up, they tend to feel that the guilt. Why did I really have to do these things? Because it was under influence of alcohol. That's why you tend to see many people, when they don't drink, they are sober, they are very nice. But when they are high, this is a different person. Another thing is concerning confrontation of others. In this phase, many people tend to be aware that you're drinking. When you're being confronted by your parents, by your pastors, by your friends, you tend to denial, and it affects your social well-being or your daily activities. When you're at workplace, because you normally drink, you tend not to pursue the activity that you used to do or to be superb in your workplace. So it affects the living standards and how you're carrying out your daily activity. Another thing is losses. A life of a drunkard person is characterized by loss. There is divorce, one thing. So people who tend to be in alcohol, there is divorce, there is cheating in relationship, and such things. There's loss of your phone, you get to be in accidents, your health standards is not on the right position. Another thing is concerning changing of pattern in abuse. This means that you tend to use it, like after 1 month you stop, at the next month. This is to prove to yourself that you're no longer an addict, or you're using it for fun, but still, all in all, it is a sign of addict, because you're trying to show yourself that I'm not an addict. And the final thing is concerning frequency substance abuse. You tend to use it because of fun, but right now, because you're in quarantine alone, it's because you're depressed, using it. You're using it to solve your problems. So in addiction, we tend to say that addiction sometimes happens when you realize that you are becoming addicted, whereby you tend to use alcohol so that you can solve a problem. So that is something critical when you want to internalize yourself if you're becoming an addict. The final thing is called chronic stage, and this stage, people normally make fun of it, that alcohol is more than the amount of water in your body. You understand? And since it's a chronic stage, this is the end stage of addiction, whereby you can't do without alcohol. This now, it's whereby the saying says, there's a saying that says that you take a drink take a drink, and now a drink takes you. So this is the stage that the drinks now is taking you, whereby you have no control of alcohol. You have to use it when you are living. That's why in addiction, when somebody is an addiction, when you remove the alcohol, or you tell them not to use alcohol, you mean that they have to die, because they can't do without it. You understand? They have to use the alcohol. This is whereby when that person is not using the alcohol, you find this person have these withdrawal symptoms. And let me tell you from life experience how I've seen many people, addicted people, behaving. Being an addicted is not the best place to be. And something about alcoholism, I don't know how people can't get out of addiction, and how hard it is, and how a drug can even control you. I want to say this thing on a light note, that sometimes I can see this thing as spiritual, because how can you be addicted in this thing, and you can't know when you're getting addicted, or even you can't come out of it. So when you are in addiction, it's sometimes you can end up to die, because that's why people die of alcoholism. You understand? Because there is liver damage, and people don't realize when these things happen. So my advice is, kindly, if you're at home there, you're drinking, kindly drink responsibly. And when you're drinking, if you want to leave drinking, you can as well leave. You can make that resolution. It's never too late. You can always make up your mind and turn around. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching my video. I'm still your host, Diana Nkatha, and as I said earlier, I'm here to simplify things for you, to give you real things, and also to be honest with you. So if you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe so that you can always get notification of my channel, comment, like, and share. You can always recommend somebody to these videos, or also give them an advice, or also learn from it and also help your community. Thank you so much.